I'm going to talk about trees. There's a word that was created, I think, in my studio. I can't take credit for it, but the word is a new idea for development, and that's plantrification. I think maybe Jake Ulrich or Seth Scott in my shop helped me with this, but we've talked about it a lot. The idea of plantrification is to reclaim resources, land, houses, and use that as a development tool. So this is a view behind the parking lot of my shop. There's 6 row houses literally falling down with a tree growing through the one there. The idea would be to tear down as much as we can. We've talked about that a little bit tonight. Tear down as much as we can and return the land to forests. You can see, look at the maps, the vacant lots and buildings. See how they're clumped together. You could build or create a forest where there used to be forest, of course, before we all showed up here, and use that forest as a development tool. And we all know that once there's a forest, it's really easy to get developers to come in and cut down the trees and build houses. The next slide is not far from where I grew up in Howard County, the dreaded Howard County. That's what happens. If you have trees, we cut them down. And look at all those million-dollar houses. Pretty awesome. Wouldn't that be great in Baltimore? Now, these guys would be lining up with chainsaws to tear down any tree that was still standing. And the city would make boatloads of cash. We'd have beautiful houses. We'd have, of course, great designers and architects building mixed use, lots of different income of housing, and we'd have tree-lined streets. And this is not a totally crazy idea, but really the idea has us thinking, which we've talked about a lot tonight, about resources instead of waste, because that's what's happening now. It's being wasted, the land, the houses, the spaces between things, the MARC train thing, which brings me to the second idea, which is the urban materials warehouse. It's a little more serious. But this idea relates partly to the tree canopy, the tree Baltimore idea, where we want to double our tree canopy in Baltimore. We've got about a 20% tree canopy. We're going to double that to 40%, and we would be above average at that point in the city. But we have no plan of what to do with the trees when they inevitably come down. Who's cleaned up the backyard? Who's cleaned up street trees? Who's swept the leaves out of the gutter? We all have to do something with that. And instead of thinking of that as waste, we need to think of that as products of the canopy. The tree waste is not tree waste anymore. The trouble or dangerous trees aren't trouble anymore. They're logs, and that can be sawn, I should say, with tools, and they can be chipped and turned into one of my favorite words I didn't know before, which is woody biomass. Anybody go to school with woody biomass? Anyway, we would build a warehouse. This could be a company that then takes these resources that are wasted right now. We remember the tree dump near Cold Spring and 83. Now they have a contract, they get rid of the trees, and someone, I think, pays for it. But we would build a warehouse that would utilize this waste as a local resource. We would have jobs to turn this into products like wood pellets, bricks that can burn. You could heat the warehouse. You could create energy for the warehouse, all with the products that would otherwise just be chipped up. And you would have furniture material for artisans, for benches, city benches. We could improve upon our city bench, I think. Maybe Joel could help there. Some of the artists, Micah, could help. And that's the end of the talk, but it's all about the trees.